Is it okay with you? Should I call you bae or boo? Are you available? I'm tailor-made, it's true, and I can custom fit up you too. If you upgradable, something I could do. And I'm thinking on invested stocks in you. I like the way she walks, it's cute. Hey ma, can we rendezvous? Can we rendezvous? I just wanna hit the block with you. Can I talk with you? Hey ma, can we rendezvous?
This day, relinquish, carry away. Cuddle next to me, we'll find the time to shine and waste away. You've got something no one can wear. Don't you
So he's crazy.
Oh, don't you
I mean, he's crazy. You don't reschedule a Juneteenth rally if it's about and for Juneteenth. If you specifically planned it to be in support and solidarity with the Black community, with Black culture in America. President POTUS, Donald J. Trump. Hello, I am Lynn Ferguson, your host here on Lynn Spins, and you see the title of the article. Trump makes a rare retreat by rescheduling Juneteenth rally in Tulsa. Okay, CNN, politics, all that good stuff. So in a rare conciliatory gesture, okay, he scheduled, I can't believe it. President Donald Trump announced late Friday night that he is rescheduling a campaign rally that was slated to take place in Tulsa on Juneteenth. And if anyone doesn't know, Juneteenth is June 19th, the day supposed to be celebrating the end of slavery and remembering it. And, there we go. The day commemorating the end of slavery in the United States. Sorry, I didn't read further. So the announcement of the rally sparked an uproar earlier this week because of Tulsa's history as the site of one of the worst incidents of racial violence worst incidents. One of the worst incidents of racial violence in the nation's history. The 1921 massacre of hundreds of African Americans whom I believe it should be, were attacked by a white mob, that looted and burned many Black-owned businesses and homes in the Greenwood district, a neighborhood that was then known as Black Wall Street. Okay, so this happened. Holding a rally on that day was viewed as yet another affront by Trump, who has so far refused to engage in any meaningful way in the profound conversation about systematic racism unfolding in the country. After weeks of divisive rhetoric and demands for the nation's governors to dominate the protesters in the streets with military force, if necessary. Trump's Twitter announcement Friday night fell short of an apology, but marked a notable shift in tone. Trump's retreat followed several weeks in which he has failed to rise to a moment of profound cultural change in America, while he has held several roundtables with African American leaders following the death of George Floyd at the hands of a white police officer in Minneapolis. His instinct, and it wasn't just one white officer, he wasn't just one, they were many. All four of those men contributed and were accessories to the murder of this man, and three of them physically contributed to it. They all physically contributed to it because the other man was blocking, but that was his physical defense or physical contribution, was blocking. The Asian officer, I think his last name is Thao or something. Maybe it was his first name. He was, blocking. It's a damn shame when you as citizens have to. There are two ways you could word this. When you as citizens have to protect other citizens of your like from the likes of police officers. It's another way of explaining it if you put it in a way stating it is so ridiculous and crazy and scary to know that your police officers are keeping you from, as the citizens, from protecting your fellow citizens from them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's beyond ridiculous. Anyway, not going to read the whole article. It's a very long one. Indeed, it needs to be. But a lot of it doesn't focus around particularly Tulsa and what I was, really trying to focus on in this particular video. But his instinct has been to ignore the national reckoning over race rather than lead it. And that's very real. I mean, this man has decided he is content and more than content. He's bound or bent on, pursuing this racial agenda. I mean, Kamala Harris even said that, this is basically a whistle and a wink to a dog whistle to the white supremacists of this nation, saying, welcome back, come out of hiding. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't remember exactly how she ended it, but, that post was perfect because it's literally, this needs to be acknowledged. Like, this is ridiculous. But just to finish up that little bit I did want to read of this article, his message has instead centered on the need for law and order and his bizarre assertion in Dallas this week that the problems of bigotry and prejudice in America can be resolved quickly and very easily. And instead of using this pivotal moment to expand his outreach and imperative for his reelection campaign as his rival Joe Biden widens his lead in national polls, Trump has traveled to comfortable venues in states that are largely not in play in November. Okay? So, he's not even making any sense. It really is just, it's beyond ridiculous. It's beyond ridiculous. Like, what? I'm having a hard time wording this because there are so many people out there claiming that this man is not racist, claiming that they are not racist, claiming that they support Trump and they don't like everything he does or says, but, they like his policies. Okay? The policies like taking away transgender people's rights recently. The policy like, when it comes to the healthcare field, basically narrowing the definition of gender discrimination and gender identity discrimination, and which is the same thing. Are you talking about when you pass trillions of dollars in tax cuts for the rich? Are you talking about when you gave us $1,200 to last on in a multi-month crisis? All the while billions of dollars were going to companies, trillions, all over the nation. And I'm just not understanding. I'm like, these are the policies you all support with this president. What policies? The policies at the border with children in cages and families, completely torn apart. Some people lost forever. Some people killed upon their return to places like Honduras and, things like this. It's ridiculous. It really is quite frankly ridiculous. And I don't know. It's so crazy. And I love the time in which we are currently living, within which we're currently living, because it's bringing this stuff to the forefront. It's allowing people to face these realities and people to understand and call a thing a thing. You know what I'm saying? I am so sick of people not calling a thing, not acknowledging things for what they are, you know, in all actuality. Instead, gaslighting people, lying, just spitting outright fallacies, you know. It's ridiculous. Like, so now you have to come to terms with publicly that you are a racist person if you support this president. I mean, you've had to come to terms with it, but finally, with this movement, you're finally having to come to terms. Everything he's done, this man has told people to dominate, called for force in the streets with peaceful protesters, you know, and then people are trying to change the narrative and make it seem as though there are so many people out here looting and doing all these horrible things, like we just turned into Sodom and Gomorrah. And, you know, it's like, you know, everybody's walking outside and they're seeing that's not the case. And they're seeing whom are really causing this destruction and this mayhem, including the police. You know, I was so astounded when I was seeing people finally acknowledging in the public eye, you know, like officials and things, police officers or you know, media people in the, you know, mainstream media, acknowledging that this is done by, some of these things are being done by the police, you know. But I guess inform me of how you think about it in the comments. I'm Len Ferguson, your host, here on Len's Things. Join me next time. Gobble up niggas so while he dropping. I'm irking, lurking, built for this shit. Murking, jerking, niggas and bitch. I ain't got time for a pussy nigga. You can tell it to the motherfucking trigger finger. Begging me ain't no mercy, please, nigga. Make a fool of yourself, quick. Turn up, turn up. Burn up, burn up. Got something for you. Yeah. If you wanna take it.
Yeah, turn up in this bitch. Everything gets us getting burnt in this bitch. I don't give no fucks, I ain't kissing no ass. Make the wrong move, nigga sleeping on the grass. Queen got the tick, and Lean got the neck. Leaving lifeline flat, aiming barrels at your head. Time to set it off, you know, write your own max. When the slugs flying, can you outrun that? Turn up, lay your lame ass down. Big boy shit, smoking with her to the crown. Turn up, watch it get burned down, yeah. Turn up, watch it get burned down. Ayy.